Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing another race review. We're back at a Pickle Juice criterium. This is a third race of the series. It was actually also our last race because there was some, I think, social media controversy with organizers, and they ended up canceling the last event. But regardless, let's go through this race a little bit. As you can probably, as you probably hopefully saw in the last one, I did crash, but thankfully in this one I stayed up, so I managed to finish my first 1, 2, 3 crit, which I'm really happy about. However, I guess with the excitement of everything, I still managed to do everything wrong in this race. At least I think I did. At least maybe not in the beginning here, because as I did take, I took the front right away. This is a neutral lap, and I decided, last time I noticed that I would leave the gaps open too much after every corner, and I would use a lot of energy closing those down. So I decided to just try and stay in the front and hopefully, see how that goes. Hopefully, waste less energy going out of the corners and brake less, which I think kind of worked out initially. And we'll see here. I will say that I did race 3-4 race later in the day, and I'll have a video about that later. And just differences are still immense. Just as far as aggression, I think in races here, 1, 2, 3 for me are still very aggressive, and I have to get used to that level. Alright, I'm gonna fast forward this a little bit, and I believe here, yeah, we're coming up to the finish line. And right away 1200 watts just to stay on the front wheel. In hindsight I probably didn't have to do that, but I really wanted to stay in front. As I said, just less braking, cleaner lines, and I was still a little, this was a morning race, and I was still unsure of how I will actually take these corners. I think I was kind of nervous since the last time. I'm still banged up. I'm healing pretty well. It's just road rash still, but I think mentally it was just a lot easier for me to take it cleaner initially. This is the corner where I crashed. I survived this one. I remember thinking, oh, thank God. But as you can see right here, I'll stop it. Already here, I think this gap to this wheel needs to be a lot less coming out of the corner, because now, as you can see, I'm already at 520 watts in in the middle of the corner here, and restart this. And right here I have to jump, I have to spike to jump. Thankfully he let me through. He wanted me to pull through, so he didn't go. And it's early in the race, so he probably wouldn't be able to go away. But this is something that you will see for most of this race. And I actually, I think finishing this race really helped, where in a later race in a day 3-4, I think I did a much better job of just staying on top of the wheel. And I think I noticed that I figured out the gap that I have to leave so that nobody swarms me, and then I can still bring a lot of speed to the corner and not brake. And then I also figured out that I can actually kind of pedal through the corner a little bit, so I can, I don't have to spike as much power after the corner if I just do a little bit through the corner. Let me know if that's something that you do, but it worked out a little bit for me. And here, as you can see, I'm already getting swarmed. I'm getting passed by everybody. It's very aggressive. I'm not to the point where I'm fighting for my position as much as I should. I'm letting these guys pass, and then I'm wasting a lot of energy passing them back on more open parts of the course where I feel more safe. Like this guy on the left, I probably should have closed him off, but I just let him go. And then here I'm back in a group, and I'm required to brake, and this is where all the accelerations and energy waste happens, because here you probably can't see my hands, but I'm braking, right? I'm braking the whole time, and I'm accelerating a lot more than I did when I was in the front. But then again, this is not too bad right now. I'm staying close to the group. I'm getting really nice draft, so I'm basically getting pulled up this hill. And I think the guy in front of me kind of does a brakes for a second, kind of surprises me. So and then they all jump. So here I had to push some watts, but it wasn't terrible. But as you can see, the course is really is narrow, and then not being there's so many people around. I'm just getting very nervous being around everybody still. Especially here, there was a crash at the end of the race right on this corner as well. And the team, I don't think that's them, but team in the blue, the guy right next to me, I think they're named Rockland. They were actually the most dominant team in the race. There was I think 5 riders or 6 from their team, and they were at the front almost the whole race, controlling the pace. So no breaks was able to really go away. I think I tried once or twice, but it was futile. Let's jump forward, lap 20. So here it's kind of hard to tell because I don't have the rear camera, but I'm towards the back of the group. I think I'm like the last 3 wheels, and I've been telling myself every lap, get to the group, get to the middle of the pack, just to get that pull effect on a hill again. However, just getting there, it might seem easy, or it's easy for me to say, but when you're in the race, it's really hard to get up there. It's very bunched up. It's just there's no space to move up. So let's see how I take these corners. I take it on the outside here, not bad. I was able to carry more speed. Yeah, they're pretty good this lap. So like, and the guy next to me right now, I think, I'll let him pass. I think I should have closed that. Yeah, I think this is probably one of the better laps. But I'm still too far back, so now if any move, if any move happens, I can't react to that. And that's a big issue, especially because my teammate was up again. He was constantly the 10th wheel or something like that, getting a really nice draft, doing bare minimum work, which is good. And I could always see him, and I would get to him, and then I would just drop back almost immediately. Lap 29, and now I think here I am actually the last wheel, and I didn't know that until I looked back. And I think right here I look back, and I'm like, oh man, I need to close this. So I'm trying to kind of leave a gap open here, and hoping that, and I did it good here where I left enough gap and I was able to just not break in a corner and just catch up to the guy in front. And I think I try to do the same again, but still I'm pushing 800 watts out of every corner, and they really did take a toll in the end. And then here I was too far back. Yeah, so this was a big, this was happening a lot, and I think he pulls out here, but it was happening a lot where I would just stay too far back and have too big of a gap open when I was in the back like this, and I just had to work a lot through almost the whole lap just to catch up to the group. I think here, in retrospect, or maybe here, if we go back a little bit, but there's all this space here, and I don't want to bomb the corner. But maybe if I go back a couple of seconds, there is, space here where everyone's slowing down for me to kind of just keep the momentum and maybe slot in like right here. And if I'm able to do that every lap, I can actually start moving up, and that's something to consider. Again, in a race, you're tired. It's kind of hard to think about it, and I really, it was hard for me to think like this, but looking at it now, it's you can really see where you can gain those places back. So then here I still have this gap. It doesn't seem big, right? Like this here, it doesn't seem like huge. First of all, I'm also like in this line, excuse my drawing, where I should be here, and this gap, it doesn't seem big. Even this is big, because you're just eating so much wind. You're working so much more than, for example, this guy right here. again, I drew over him, but like he's coasting, you know, he's coasting, he's doing work, I'm doing 400 watts right there. So it's a big difference, you know, and saving, you know, these little things, if you save the energy here and here, you know, it can really, you know, count a lot, especially towards the end. I mean, you'll see the finish. I ended up 15th in this race, but I was, you know, a couple of seconds of the winner. And if I was able to save energy here, you know, I could have been much closer. And then getting arrow just to get, you know, just close to the group. To be honest with you, at this point I was just thinking, thank God I didn't crash. There's not a lot of laps left. I hope I can make it all the way. Yeah, this is a pretty bad lap. So I think I'm last wheel here, and I'm still not on his wheel. And then I'm still trying to leave this gap open so I don't have to break into the corner. And I did really well here. And I was slowly getting that flow and that rhythm towards the end of the race. And this corner, I think I could have brought more speed through, but I did well. And I think this guy was hurting as much as I was, so I was trying to get into his draft best I could. And I finally catch them. And then out here, the whole group slows down because it's a hill. I don't have a gradient on the screen, but so right here is a really easy spot to pass. Like there is an open road over here, and I just did, you know, 700 watts behind this guy, and I'm down to 200. So if I just close my eyes, you know, not really close my eyes, but if I just, you know, grind a little bit more and just pass this group, I would be in such a better position next lap, considering there's, you know, 10 laps left. That could have been something that would have helped me in the finish, because they're all coasting now, the speed is low. It's an ideal time to pass. And the corner is coming, but there's always space to slide in. Okay, that was terrible lap. So now I'm back in a group. Did I try and attack? I think I saw some guys coming, but I don't think I attacked this late in the race. I think I attacked earlier, and my teammate yelled at me to not attack because there was a team controlling the race basically. Let's jump forward. So by the last 3 laps here. So now it's getting hectic. We're almost at the end of the race here. Everyone's speeding up. Everyone's getting more aggressive as well. Notice that there's a lot more dive bombing into the corners, and that's how actually the crash happened at the end as well. So again, I guess if you're in the middle of the pack towards the last couple of laps, it's more dangerous for you because there is no room to escape really. So from the safety standpoint, I'm in a better position because then I can kind of, you know, react to anything happening in a big group. But again, from the energy standpoint, I'm really, and you know, positioning, I'm just really in a terrible spot. And then again here, you know, I think I actually move up a little bit because I try to, you know, figure out the best way to move up because I still have enough, you know, I feel like I have a sprint in me, but I'm in a terrible position. So I was trying to move up, and so didn't work out still. But yeah, as far as positioning, you know, sitting back might be safer, but it's definitely not good if you want to win the race. So it's, you know, a risk and reward type of a situation. It would be the best if you could be up last 3 laps, ideally top 5 wheels. But it's really hard to protect that position, at least for me at this point still is. So still, again, I leave a little bit of a gap open, but this is actually intentional. So I'm trying not to brake going into the corner. And you see, I'm right back on his wheel. So slowly getting the flow down, which was good. I was pretty happy with that. There were times I would, I would miss that gap, but I think slowly getting the hang of how much I actually need to leave and how much space I need to leave is good. I did notice, for example, the guy in front of me is very small and very light. So if I was, there were a couple of times where there were guys in front of me that are very light and they would accelerate or start pedaling, for example, way later than me, and we would end up being at the same spot at the end of the hill, meaning that, it takes me a little bit more to actually gain that speed and momentum, obviously because I'm heavier, but then I can carry that momentum through that hill. But the point I'm trying to make is that I need to pedal, or I need to not look at, I was trying to look at other guys and see when they stop, when they go, when they corner, but I think I need to try and figure that out for myself, because if I do it the same time they do, it just doesn't work out the same, just because of the mass difference, or at least that's what I think, and that's how it feels sometimes. So I'm slowly trying to move up. I think I got a couple of spots, and I'm trying to fight for that, but still I'm letting this guy through. I really shouldn't. This corner is pretty good, and I think in the next lap I actually take this corner pretty bad. Didn't crash. It wasn't close to a crash, but it was pretty bad corner. You'll see it. So here I'm actually saving a lot of energy, so I'm pretty happy with that. I think here I was thinking that I could actually maybe do well. My heart rate actually went down a little bit, and I was getting some, I was getting some energy back into my legs. And I think right here, yep, you can see the crash on the right. So let's see that quickly again. So that's what I was saying. If you're in a kind of in the back, you avoid this, this whole bunch up, I guess you can say. So here, I guess somebody slipped in a corner, and you can see it on the right here. So one guy's falling down, and then he falls down, and this whole group here gets cut out. So that's not ideal when you're in a crit like this. Let's see. So they all kind of get cut out or slowed down, and I'm able to pass that, accelerate, and we're coming up to the bell lap now. I thought they were gonna stop the race or neutralize it, but I guess they were able to clean it up quickly. So here, first mistake, I guess, is again I'm taking inside line, which is a slower line in this corner, but I don't do a terrible job of accelerating out of it, so I'm still staying with the guys. I feel good for the finish. My heart rate is a little bit higher, but it's a last lap excitement, I think. And then here, if you remember the last video, I kind of do the same thing where I took it too wide, and I mean I had enough space, but it just I lost 2 spots for doing that. And coming into the sprint, you don't want to lose spots, especially because this right here is the sprint. So coming up through this uphill here is basically the only place where you can pass people, because once you pass this part and you pass the turn where people crash, there's not enough room for you to, there's just not enough road to sprint. So here I just passed, I think about around like 10 people going up the hill, and I let this guy through, and again shouldn't, and I was just too far away. There was too big of a gap that opened up for me to really catch up to the front group. So yeah, this was it. Let's see it. There's my teammate right there. So I almost caught up to him. He was doing such a good job earlier in the race. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. This is it. My first 1, 2, 3 crit I finished. I got 15th in the end out of 32, I think was the race starters. So not bad, not terrible. There's a lot of things that I need to work on, obviously, as you can see. But I'm pretty happy with it. we'll keep working. Stay tuned for more videos. Subscribe if you want to see it. And yeah, have a good day, everyone. Thank you for watching.